Come see us do stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Manchester, Glasgow, Belfast, Liverpool, Birmingham, and London. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Think that Bernie Sanders
I was just going to bring that up.
is your savior of civil rights, or is going to stand up to oligarchy, or is going to stand up. He's a liar. He's there to perpetuate this left-right charade.
Right.
That's what he's there to do. He's there to keep you, and he knows it. And he's there to sheep herd you into the Democratic Party, and he's there to get money from you. He's there to keep you donating money to the Democratic Party machine, which doesn't give a crap about your civil rights, doesn't give a crap about your health care, wants to keep 900 military. When is Bernie Sanders going to say we need to get rid of those 900 military? But never. And he'll never stand up for the least amongst us, because right now there's a guy at a Bernie Sanders, at a lefty fight the oligarchy, fight Trump rally, and all he did was put up a Palestinian flag, and they had him arrested. You want to watch it? Here, and here's Nick Cruz from a Revolutionary Blackout Network to tell you about it.
Bernie Sanders and AOC gets anti-genocide protester arrested for advocating for a free Palestine.
That's at an AOC Bernie Sanders rally. They're having a free Palestine protester arrested.
You hear the boos? Because that sucker who went in there, he's the only guy who's not paid to be at that rally.
That's right.
We all know they're being paid, except for chumps like this who actually thought he could protest there. Because people found, from cell phone data, found the same people went to the same rallies.
That's right.
All across the country. You get
so this
paid
is George,
to be a Democrat,
this is
or you wouldn't be one.
That's right. This is George Soros. This is AstroTurf.
In America today, we have more income.
So now people start chanting, "Free Palestine." Bernie Sanders ignores it.
He's never arrested?
People want to know that this is a sensitive issue, something I am helping leading the
Bernie Sanders and AOC plans to resist Donald Trump and fight the oligarchy by joining the police state to crack down on anti-genocide protesters. Another example of how social democracy is just a moderate wing of fascism. The crazy thing is that the protester wasn't even interrupting the event. They simply had a banner that said "Free Palestine," something you would never hear Bernie Sanders say.
Israel had the right to defend itself against the terrorist attack.
Israel has a right to defend itself against terrorism.
The crazy thing is this crowd is filled with Democrat-supporting normies, but they boo the police who arrest the pro-Palestine protesters, even chanting "Free Palestine" as the police escorts them away. This is the exact moment if Bernie Sanders wasn't a shameless Zionist sellout, where he should say, we shouldn't be arresting pro-Palestine protesters. We should be arresting Benjamin Netanyahu. The crowd would have went wild. Too bad that Bernie is too much of a Zionist sellout cut to do such a thing.
Okay. He needs to read that Twitter account to know Bernie is in no position to be making demands about anything.
Matt Kennard, friend of the show, says Bernie is a liberal Zionist. No progressive movement can be led by someone with these politics. It destroys everything it touches. So there it is. There's Bernie Sanders being mask off moment. He's going to fight Donald Trump by joining with the police state to arrest people who are protesting for a free Palestine.
Oh, he's for the Ukraine war as well.
And he's for the Ukraine war as well. Bernie Sanders is he's a garbage person. He's a garbage politician. Bernie Sanders is garbage. If you don't know that by yet.
I have a hard time believing, because if people are booing that they arrested the guy, I assume they're booing the guy because they're paid shills. But
no, but they were chanting "Free Palestine" because they don't know that the guy that they're there to see supports that. It supports the police state.
Did they learn there?
No.
Did they learn at that event where you saw it happening?
We saw it happen.
No. Yeah.
So this is exactly why I go so hard against Bernie Sanders and AOC. Why? Because political reports, Ocasio-Cortez raised $9.6 million in 3 months, smashing her own record. The working class cannot afford to waste another $400 million on Democratic Party sheepdog operation that leads nowhere. Well, they're going to do it. Unfortunately, Nick, I hate to break it to you, but they're doing it. They're in the process of doing it, and it's under the guise of fighting Donald Trump. But they're not fighting Donald Trump. They're on board with all of it. Bernie Sanders and AOC wants to waste working class money that could be spent on mutual aid and actually building a socialist third-party alternative. They are extremely nefarious and play a very important role for the establishment. Exactly. My advice would be stop using the word socialist, Marxists, all that stuff, because they've been supercharged against you. How about a working class third-party alternative? How about that? How about a working class? Because people equate socialism with what the cops just did. That's what people think it is.
How about a working class person party?
What's that?
The not lizard people party.
Yeah.
Is that?
Because that's what people think it is. People love socialism when it shows up in their life. They love fire departments. They love public schools. They love public universities. They love highways. They love roads and streets and stoplights and traffic lights. They love libraries. They love people love socialism when it shows up in their life. They love when an ambulance shows up at their house. They don't know that that's socialism. So just talk about a working class party. How about that? A party that brings people together from the left and the right around class structure, class issues with a class analysis. That's what we need. And if you keep calling it socialism, it's a loser. Because people equate socialism with what the cops just did to that Palestinian protester. And you're not going to win that fight. You're going to lose that fight over and over and over and over. You're going to lose that fight. And I'm not saying this to Nick. I'm saying this to everybody. It would behoove you, just like I was when I talked to our Irish friend, stop calling yourself a Marxist. Because people equate that with Nazism, with communism, with authoritarianism. That's what it is in people's head. Call yourself, you're fighting for workers' rights.
And also, don't be authoritarian. That's another thing that might help some. The other thing that might help is not ever being authoritarian on any level. People love it, though. I don't see them not doing it. People love to get in and then being like, the ones I don't like now, they're not going to get. And I was so keyed into a revenge from Trump. Like I said, I'm still mad he didn't execute Liz Cheney. I'm still upset about it. But I didn't know they're going to just grab people with no explanation. I thought there was going to be some kind of transparency. I mean, if they're on the right side, why not respect the? I thought those were the people who were going to respect the Constitution. I thought Donald Trump was all about the Constitution. We're going to respect it and no. So they did lawfare against Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump turns around and does lawfare against everybody else. Well, maybe it's a secret Q plan.
But he does it at the behest of Israel.
Yeah,
anyway, that was a great piece.
Secret plan, but I feel like you shouldn't get to have secret plans. You know, like, sure, I'd like to believe the pie in the sky that this is some top secret 5D chess he's pulling. But why are they allowed to have these secrets like that ever again after have you been abused with secrets your entire life living in this country? Just by virtue of living here is like abuse with secrets.
But how do you know anything about Israel? Have you ever been there?
No, just my money. What? Sorry.
You've never been.
You've never been?
I've never been. No.
You've never been.
You've never been to the checkpoints. Why are there any checkpoints, Douglas? Why did you write a book called Why We Need Neoconservatism? If I had known that way back, did you know we wrote that book?
No, I did not know that.
2006's Why We Need Neoconservatism. So think of him telling Dave Smith not to take those wars personally, and that dickhead was part of that. For some reason, that doesn't get brought up, but I think he's not an expert in anything.
He's not.
Even
He's
with his
he's got an
bachelor's degree in
undergraduate degree in English. Douglas Murray. He's not an expert. He's not a
bachelor's?
historian. He's not a this. He's not a that. He's nothing. He's a blowhard
been to the
who gets
archives.
funded by the Zionists. That's what he is.
Have you been to the archives?
Have you been to the
The
archives?
archives is like a gay club in London, I think.
When were you last there at all? I've never been. You've never been.
Woo! Okay, we got to have
Never
our guest
been.
on.
Why would I go to that hellhole? Well, can't my money just go and pay for them to make hell on earth, Douglas?
Yeah.
Is that not courteous enough that I have no power over if they spend my money doing that from either party? I think that's courteous of me.
You've never been.
Come see us do stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Manchester, Glasgow, Belfast, Liverpool, Birmingham, and London. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.